With us now to talk more about this, MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin, who has been in court every day of this trial, and Jeff Jacobovitz, a defense attorney who represented 3 White House employees during the Clinton presidency. So, Lisa, who exactly is Gary Farrow, and why is he important to this case?
Jose, that's the question on many people's lips because Gary Farrow is not exactly a household name in Trump world. Gary Farrow was Michael Cohen's banker at the now-defunct First Republic Bank. Michael Cohen had maintained multiple accounts there over the years, but in October of 2016, he contacted Gary Farrow and said he needed urgently to open a new account for a limited liability company he was starting. That's the company through which Michael Cohen made payments to Stormy Daniels after Trump stalled so long that Cohen became afraid that Keith Davidson, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, and Stormy Daniels would either sell their story somewhere else or tell it somewhere else or both. And therefore, Gary Farrow has a number of email exchanges and other communications with Michael Cohen that buttress Cohen's story about the payments to Daniels. He also can testify to the fact that somebody at First Republic flagged the transaction as suspicious and contacted the Treasury Department. The Wall Street Journal reported that in 2018. To this day, we don't know who at First Republic was the person to lift up the phone and call the Treasury Department. Perhaps Gary Farrow can shed some light on that as well, Jose.
And Lisa, I mean, if Farrow's the prosecution's 3rd witness, do things seem to be moving faster than expected to you?
Well, I think the jury selection itself was faster than people expected. But certainly David Pecker spent several days on the stand, and there may be other witnesses who similarly have extended testimony. So on one hand, yes. On the other hand, no. We're only 3 witnesses in, and tomorrow marking the beginning of the 3rd week of the trial. Let's see what happens this week, and in particular, how fast these witnesses move. Gary Farrow shouldn't be on the stand all that much longer. Werner Graff also was a short witness. Pecker, on the other hand, like I said, took multiple days for his direct examination, cross, redirect, and then even a recross, because there were so many efforts to try and both get good testimony out of him and then muddy the waters on the Trump team's behalf.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, the New York Times points out, quote, as the trial grinds on in the weeks ahead, legal experts said the defense team will need to walk a fine line to appease both of its audiences, 12 jurors and a singular defendant. What do you make of how Donald Trump's legal team has been handling things so far?
Well, you know, they're trying to make it as if he really is an honorable man and he didn't do, you know, anything wrong. This was in the opening argument. It almost sounded like we were watching Notting Hill and Julia Roberts. But in any event, they will try to cross, and really the important witness for them is Michael Cohen, because he's subject to considerable cross-examination based on his conviction for perjury. And I think the witnesses we're seeing now, and Lisa has described who else we will be seeing, corroborating what Michael Cohen will testify about, because this is a documents case as well. And to prove the case, the underlying felonies, they have to introduce the documents that Michael Cohen will talk about. And that's why we have the banker on the stand now, and there will be others as well.
And, Jeff, it's been almost a week since the judge held that first hearing on whether Trump violated the partial gag order against him. The judge is scheduled to hold another hearing on this issue on Thursday. Why haven't we seen a decision yet, you think?
Well, that's interesting, because violations of the gag order continue to apparently occur. And so I think the judge will take them all at once. He's waiting, and the judge could easily defer his decision on, and he can fine Donald Trump, which would be negligible in terms of the impact. But what he can do is hold it over his head and not completely say what he will do, because he could lock him up for what he has said. He will not do it during the trial. He wants Trump in court. It seems like Trump is baiting him to be locked up. I don't think the judge will go for that, and he will hold it over his head until after the case is over.